we would like to welcome everyone to Synthetic Meditation Center. So our center is 19 years old today, but the community is about 40 years old. We have a full day activity for you. So this morning, we're going to take advantage of this beautiful weather and be outside most of the morning. At lunch, we're going to eat outside again, take advantage of the weather. And then in the afternoon, we're going to be inside. I heard a rumor that we're going to have some surprise drawing of winning something. I'm going to count my luck, see if I win anything today. As we were sitting just a minute ago, and simply just be aware. I remember 2,600 years ago, the Buddha, at one time, he was gathering his student. And they came and they saw him sitting there. As usual, they gather. And they was expecting him to say something, or talk or something. But the Buddha actually sat quietly in that moment. One moment passed, the next moment, and then he never said anything for hours. Ananda, his attendant, came and said, "Sir, everyone are gathered. We just want to make sure the Buddha is awake. Sir, everybody gather and appreciate you would share some teaching." He looked at Ananda and he said, "Isn't this moment wonderful enough? Do I need to disturb this moment?" A moment ago, I was sitting and I felt the same way. And I thought about just sit and enjoy the moment this morning. But looking at you, I said, I probably can't get away with that. So I figured I have to say something. But it is a wonderful teaching story from the time of the Buddha that said, this moment is good enough. By the way, you already know everything I'm about to say. Trust me, you know. You know why I know you know? Because when I'm sharing with you something, you said, So you already know. And all I'm doing is reminding you of what you already know. And in case you forget, let me remind you that the well-being nature is already in you. Phật tánh đã có mặt. You don't need to create it. It's already there. And all we're doing now is remind ourselves of that well-being nature. And that's why for the last number of years, if you're attending the retreat here, we actually intentionally don't say anything about practice. And however many times Carson say practice, I'm going to remind him there's nothing to practice. Because when you say you practice, which means that you are trying to be something that you are not. You are trying to be better. Just like if you practice play tennis for a match, you're trying to be better. Well, let me remind you, you are already better. And what we really need is not practice. We need is seeing clearly so that we don't prevent ourselves from touching that well-being nature. I wonder what's going on me translating back there. Life is full of challenges, regardless how well we're trying to make it to be. There's always challenges. It's like the ocean. When you go out and look at the ocean, there's always waves, one after another, non-stop. There's a wonderful story. There's a married couple. They are very happy. One day, the wife went for a yearly physical exam. You know how wonderful those yearly physical exams is. So she went to the doctor. As many of us, we have a long list of things to ask the doctor. She came back, and the husband said, "Honey, do you remember to talk to the doctor about your pain. The wife responds, no, honey, I decided not to talk about you.
Sorry.
Okay, so you laugh because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter how much you or other love you. It's never perfect. When I say it's never perfect in your mind. It's perfect from the other, was never perfect, will never meet your expectation. And that's the problem in life, is expectation. So we live a lot based on our expectation, not based on reality. Life appears to us through the idea of what we think it should be, as we think it should be, as we want it to be, as we wish it to be. But we rarely experience life, live life the way it is. When I was young, and I first entered the spiritual path when I was a teenager, believe it or not. Back then, I have the idea, if I practice, just like Carson when I was young, right? I would say, if I practice, and if I work hard spiritually, I will be perfect. And I will be happy. Because right now I'm not perfect, so I'm going to practice to be perfect. And then, because now I'm perfect, I'm going to make my environment to be ideal. So that the end game is I will be happy. Is that realistic? Is that practical? Of course. Isn't it that we've been taught in our life? We work hard. When we were young, go to school, study, be smart, we'd be successful. Same concept, right? You carry it over to the spiritual life. So I'm going to do much better. And I'll bet you, it's not just my dream, but every one of you here. How's it doing for you so far? Is it perfect yet? Is it ideal yet? Okay, so you're in the same boat as I am. As I journey on the spiritual path, I notice on the spiritual path, it doesn't talk a lot about being perfect. It's actually not in the vocabulary of the spiritual path. Have you? Have you found? On the spiritual path, it talks about three things. What does it normally talk about as the goal, at the end goal? It talks about tỉnh thức, which is awakening, right? By the way, the Vietnamese word is amazing. And I'm not biased. Let me tell you, when I'm trying to translate from the Vietnamese word to an English word, it took more than a few words in English to communicate fully what the Vietnamese word means. And I said, this is rich. On the spiritual path, in the Vietnamese vocabulary, there are three words that you consistently will see. What are they? Okay, I already gave you the first one, right? The first one is tỉnh thức. What's the second one that you run into when we talk about the spiritual path? Tu học để làm gì? Jenny say happiness. Is that what you say?
Yes.
Jenny say happiness.
I couldn't even make it to the boring word.
We're talking about the top three, right? The top three. Okay, peace. Okay, let me,
Robin, you have to retake the course.
Okay, go ahead in the back.
Mindfulness.
Okay, mindfulness. It's worth talking about that. By the way, what's your name? So mindfulness, chánh niệm, is the way to get there. We're talking about the objective. This is the end goal. So mindfulness is a wonderful path, but that is the way to get there. It's not the end goal. Thank you. Anybody else? Beautiful.
See the truth or see clearly.
Seeing clearly, hả?
Or see the truth.
Tiếng Việt Nam là gì chị?
Thấy rõ ràng hoặc là thấy được chân lý. Thấy sự thật.
Chị Phú share with us two things. We're going to sum up to the second most popular word on spiritual path is giác ngộ. That's where we want to be. Even the word giác ngộ is very complicated. So giác is seeing, understanding, and then ngộ is realization, because we are seeing clearly, and we're seeing clearly through mindfulness. Because mindfulness, we're able to see very clear, and because we're able to see very clear or experience clearly or accurately, we're able to realize. What are we realizing? We are realizing the truth. So we are seeing clearly to be able to realize, right? What's the last one, Carson? See, Carson is the kind of guy that he always throw out the word, I have no idea what he's talking about. Anybody know what nirvana is? Is that in English? Is that Vietnamese? By the way, it's neither. Actually, a Pali word. Actually, nibbana, nirvana is a Sanskrit word. But it means something. I have no idea what it means. Life's complicated enough, so I've stopped using those things that I have no idea what it means. Because when I say nirvana, each one of you here may know it differently. Nirvana for me is a very sweet mango.
You get two in the fridge.
Oh, okay.
Save them for you.
Okay, I'm already in nirvana. Nirvana for you may be a winning lottery ticket. So nirvana means differently for different people. What's the third word? I know what you didn't say, an nhiên tự tại, which I'm going to use a different word, but exactly what she's talking about. So it doesn't matter which tradition of Buddhist you are on. These are the three things that you often see as the goal. This is why we are doing what we're doing. Giải thoát, a simple translation is what?
Liberation.
By the way, Phượng is very accurate when she say escape. Escape from what though? Not from your spouse. Escape from your illusion. Escape from your ảo. That's what we are escaping from. As you can see, you have to be able to see very clear to realize the truth, which is reality, so that you can be liberated from your illusion, so that you can be in touch with the truth, which is awakening. So you go in that order. Any questions, comments? I see Tammy taking a picture. I know she's taking a picture of me, not the white boy. I know that. You see my illusion? That's the illusion that I'm trying to point out. Why I'm putting the goal of the spiritual path on the whiteboard? So that we know where we're going. From time to time, we need to reset. We need to remind ourselves, why are we on this path? What is it that we're trying to achieve? We're trying to giác ngộ. In order to giác ngộ, so that we can be liberated from what? From our illusion, ảo. So that we can be in touch with the truth. That's all we're doing. Awakening is nothing more than, awakening is not having a halo on your head. Awakening is not flying up to the cloud, even though it would be nice. Awakening is simply be in touch with the truth. That's it. Class dismissed. We're done. So that's implying that right now we are not in touch with the truth. I'm sorry to tell you the bad news. So right now, if you are not in touch with the truth, what are you in touch with? I thought the Buddha is taking a picture of me. I said, that's another illusion I got. Who's in here think that he or she is wrong in life? I know, just like me. I'm never wrong. That's what we're trying to be liberated from, that illusion. When you're in an argument, do you ever entering in the argument and said, I'm wrong? Absolutely not. We are always right. There's a wonderful saying that we are always right even though we're wrong. Even though we know we're wrong, we're always right. Yes, Robin?
Can I share? So I'm a math teacher. Sometimes make a mistake.
Okay, I'm going to sit down now. The teacher is here. Go ahead.
Sometimes I make a mistake and I have to tell my whole class I'm wrong. And and I have to figure it out, and it's very humbling.
Oh, wow. Unlike her, I'm never wrong.
Because you're not a math teacher.
And I'm so glad I'm not. That's a very funny thing to say, but it's pretty ironic. Do we see that? So let me show you another illusion. It's a joke and it describes so well. So there's this couple has been married for a while and they went shopping. So they're entering the mall. Before she knows, she turned around, her husband was nowhere to be seen. As usual, she figured, he's probably window shopping somewhere. But after an hour, he still didn't come back. Wonderful to a cell phone. Pick up the cell phone and call her husband. Honey, where are you? The husband answered, said, honey, do you remember the jewelry store that we first met? And back then, I was very poor. And I know there's a diamond necklace you love to have. And I promise you that when I'm more financially stable, I will buy it for you. Remember that store? She's so happy. She said, oh, yeah, I remember very well where the store is. And he said, well, I'm at the bar next to the door. Okay, that illusion is what I'm talking about. That is the illusion that we live with moment by moment. We don't hear something exactly, accurately as it is. We hear it to what we like it to be. We hear it as what we think it's gonna be. Moment by moment, we live like that. That's why the Buddha was saying we need to awaken out of that illusion. So imagine that. Each moment, we are unable to experience accurately. I'm not saying that we're not capable. I'm saying we're unable to. And so why are we unable to? Because something is covering it up. Something is blocking us from being able to be in touch with that. What is that?
Or perception something?
Absolutely. Who's causing that perception? Oh, no, yeah, I love that. We blend society. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because of society, we're unable to be in touch with to be experience the truth. I love that. By the way, thank you. Never alcohol, right? Remember that? So guess what? Who created this perception? The mind. Our wonderful mind that has helped us through countless, that has created financial stability, that helped us to establish relationships, is also preventing us from experiencing the truth. The same mind. Would be nice if we can come up with a formula, right? Put on our app, and in every situation, we bring up the app, and the app said, this is illusion or this is real. Isn't that would be great? I mean, we can be rich. We create this app, we can be rich. So unfortunately, life is very complex. Life is very dynamic. There's a wonderful teaching that's saying the spiritual path is like water. In the winter, if you come here, the water in that pond that you're hearing right now is frozen. So water becomes ice. The form changed, but I believe quality of the water is the same. Still H2O, it changed the form. And then in the spring, as the weather warm up, it's become liquid again. So it changed from solid to liquid. And then in the summer, when it gets really warm, really hot, it's actually evaporate into moisture, steam, isn't it? So again, the form changed. But I'll bet you it's still H2O, the nature of it. And then when it gets high, the moisture, it becomes rain, come back as liquid. The nature of our spiritual path needs to be like water. The form change, but the quality, the essence is remaining the same. Doesn't matter what form it takes. So by the way, we live on a mountain, and you see that walking path up to the mountain, because you're sitting here in June, that is a walking path. But on a heavy rainy day, that's a river. And believe me, I have seen that river coming down so hard that it dig down a trench onto the driveway. Pretty deep. And have you ever tried to block water? So if you put a rock in front of water, what does it do? Naturally, it split up and go around the rock. And then when condition is right, it rejoins and becomes the stream again. The nature of water is like that. And our spiritual path needs to be like that. That's what we do here. There's a wonderful verse from the 10th century that goes like, Phật Pháp tánh như thủy, năng viên, ủy khúc tùy hình. Very clear, right? By the way, we have no idea what that says. That's in ancient Vietnamese. And I have to open the dictionary and say, what does that mean? Well, what it means is the nature of the spiritual path is like water. When you pour water into a square vase, it takes up the shape of the square vase. When you pour it into a round oval vase, it takes shape of oval. But the essence of water remains the same. I think that's a beautiful teaching. That's a beautiful reminder of what our spiritual path should be. The problem is we are so stuck in this different method so that we are unable, like water, adapt to whatever the environment that we are in. If I'm a meditation tradition, when I go to a Pure Land, the No tradition, I'm saying, I don't do that. Well, that's the problem. As long as the path is to giác ngộ, giải thoát, and tỉnh thức, why not? Because all are just method. All are just means to an end. So why are we stuck in the means? And we forgot what the end is. So I will tell you, the fact that we're sitting here out in the open, talk about the Dharma, you're not going to find this environment anywhere else. Because most of the environment is so serious, it even scares me. Any comments so far? Yes?
I think for me it's really important when you're telling us what is the goal of what are we doing, because it is very hard sometimes for me to, like, I talk with person a lot about all of this, and for me sometimes it's like, but what are you trying to tell me that what I have to do? So when you're putting this so clear, it's easier like to kind of like go to that way, like to see the goal.
Absolutely. We're trying to present 2,600 years old teaching in a common, practical way. The teaching is still the same. We're just presenting it differently. Thank you. Anybody else? Let's get serious. You thought we were serious, right? Let's get serious. Seeing clearly, first one, giác ngộ is the key. Because if you don't giác ngộ, seeing clearly, people realize we're not going to get anywhere, right? Here's the problem. There are 3 common misunderstandings about how to see clearly. Different people seeing clearly differently. For me, seeing clearly is very easy. When I take off my glass up, I have no idea what's going on. So I put my glass on, oh yeah, okay. So to me, it's very straightforward. But there are 3 common misunderstandings about giác ngộ, how to giác ngộ. 3 common misunderstandings when we're talking about seeing clearly. The first common misunderstanding is we are on this spiritual path to relieve suffering, to end suffering. I'm waiting for rocks to be thrown at me. That's why I paused. A lot of people will tell you the reason they're entering the spiritual path because they're suffering. Because life, as they know it, is challenging. So now I'm saying you're entering the spiritual path to end suffering. That's wrong. I'm waiting for a rock to be thrown. That's the first common misunderstanding, and let me prove it. So there's a wonderful teaching from the Buddha. One day, a Hindu priest named Kassapa, he came to the Buddha and he said, "Sir, is your teaching to end suffering? Is the purpose of your teaching to end suffering?" What did the Buddha say? Anybody read the Sutra? What did the Buddha say? Most people would believe the Buddha would say, absolutely. But the Buddha said no. Why did he say no? He said the purpose of his teaching is to see suffering, is to know suffering, and to realize suffering. Because he knows real well that if he say yes, people would took it and run away with it before even knowing what suffering is. How can you end suffering if you don't even see it, really know it, and realize it? No wonder we get ourselves in trouble. But each of us eliminate differently. And some of us create more suffering when we're trying to alleviate suffering. I heard so many stories about parents come to share with me that their children avoid them. You know why? Because you're helping them so much. They avoid you. You help them the way you like it, not the way they need it. And that's why they avoid you. That's the very evident of a lot of time we do things without even knowing what we're doing. With good intention. Our action of good intention or not good intention, it hurt the same. First common misunderstanding is seeing clearly what suffering is. And so it's important to remember the path that we are on is about seeing knowing and realize, but not just to jump to the end. The path is to end. And knowing that until we're able to see it, know it exactly, and realize it, we will never be able to end. So what is a key ingredient for being able to see, know, and realize? Thấy rõ, nhận biết và thực chứng. What is the key ingredient that we need for that? Yes.
Awareness.
Funny about awareness, we say we need it. We have it all the time. Whether we like it or not, we have it all the time. So it's more than that because we have that all the time. Even though we have it, sometimes that awareness is actually, I'm going to use the word, twisted or not accurately presenting to ourselves. So what is the key ingredient for that? Openness. Openness. A lot of times we are not open. I'm going to be more accurate. We are always not open. So let me tell you, we've been running retreat for more than 19 years. You know that, before we have this place. We have retreat at different resort centers that we rent. Here's the amazing fact. At each of those retreats, and by the way, even when I was teaching in college, everybody come in and sit at the same place every time. And I intentionally didn't say anything about a science seat. But whether we have a 3-day retreat here, a 4-day retreat here, I can tell you after the first session, everybody would sit at the same seat every time. In the class that I teach at the college, same. Why is that? Nobody said that you have to sit at the same seat. No, it's bigger than habit. We keep blaming habit. What is that? What is behind the habit? We are not open. We figure this seat right here is the best seat for us. It's whatever, it's far from the teacher, it's close to the teacher, it's got the right angle, whatever it is. We decided and we put a label on it, then it's stuck. So at the last few retreats, if you attended, remember I said, let's sit at a different place today. And boy, people wasn't happy. Just for that. Just for a simple thing like you're going to sit at a different place. And I'm telling you, people wasn't happy. So let me enlighten you. If you come here to be happy, you came to the wrong place. We are trying something bigger than happiness here. If you want to be happy, go on a cruise. Don't come here. I'm sorry. Okay, management's going to fire me after this. This is the first common misunderstanding. We are intertwined so much with our mind and how it thinks. Things should be, just like suffering. We believe that this is why we are having difficulty. And we're going to do whatever it takes to resolve that. A lot of times that is not accurate. The Buddha taught us to be open and to investigate, to find out the real reason that causes our suffering. If the real reason that causes our suffering because the teacher said we sit at a different seat, boy, good luck to you. What is the second common misunderstanding? So a lot of times, especially when we say we are mindful, when we're upset, we're mindful that we're upset. When we're happy, we're mindful that we're happy. And that's mindfulness. Is that accurate? Come on, we're among friends here, and we're never wrong, so don't worry about it. So you know exactly what it is in that moment. When we're happy, we know we're happy. When we're sad, we're sad. Is that mindfulness? Is that good enough? We got 50 people here. We got 50 answers. Life is not a snap of the moment. Life is a process. If this moment we are sad, it is the result of the process that happened. If we are only aware of this moment, imagine, life is a process. It's dynamic, it's constantly changing, constantly happening, and all we are aware is happy, sad, nervous, whatever. That's not good enough. Because all we are aware is the result, and by the way, it's too late. If all we know is when we're happy, it's already passed. It's already happened. The process already happened. I mean, it's good. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm saying it is. However, it's not good enough. So we need to be aware of the process, the rise and fall that end in that happiness or sadness. If you're reading the sutra, Satipatthana, Continuum Sư, what is the translation for Continuum Sư? The four foundations of mindfulness. It's talking about four things. It's talking about we are aware of the moment through those four things. What are they? Thank you, anh Minh Phước. Cú bộ mình được quên.
Body, feeling, mind,
Yeah.
and then mind object.
Yep. So it's talking about thân thọ tâm pháp, which means aware of the body, aware of the feeling, aware of the mind, and aware of the object of the mind. By the way, the last part is quite hard to translate, and I like the translation, the object of the mind, but still not complete. But we'll settle for that. How do we aware of life through body, feeling, mind, and the object of the mind? So let's take a case so that we can follow through. When we are aware of life, we're aware somebody says something, let's say, through hearing, that's body, and we heard it create a feeling. Whether we like it, we don't like it, feeling. Feeling causes the mind to respond. The mind responds into happiness or sadness, depending on how the mind interprets it as a praise or criticism. And then, once the mind responds, decided what that moment is, the whole moment become a good moment, which is here's the relationship to what happened, object of the mind. This is a good moment, this is a bad moment. Guess what? That is the process of life that we normally don't even see, and all we see is happy, sad at the end. It is good to be aware of that process, not just the end. And that's the part a lot of people miss. This seeing clearly is a process, not just the end condition. We're usually just aware of the end condition, but we're not aware of the process. And that's what we miss. And that's why we kind of stuck. When we find out about life, we said we are sad. And we have no idea why we're sad. So we kind of stuck. That's the problem. If we are, then we will know right away. Any questions, comments? So what's the third thing? When we say we are mindful, and we said, I'm attending the Day of Mindfulness and 19 years anniversary of Synthetic. I'm here with all the friends, a lot of wonderful people, beautiful day. Is that mindfulness at this moment? Is that good enough? You're fully aware of what's going on? On the last one, I'm going to ask for a show of hands. If you think what I just said is mindfulness and that's good enough, I'm going to say it again. You're fully aware you're here. You're sitting with a group of people. Some you know, some you don't know. You're aware of what day this is. You're aware of the weather. You enjoy the weather. Is this mindfulness? If you think that's good enough, raise your hand, please. I only have 3 hand raised, which means that the rest thing we need more. So I'm going to ask each one of you, what more do we need? The 3 that raise your hand, you're off. You can go for a walk for another 5 hours. The rest, please stay. You're going to give me a 3-page report on why you need more. Family know me very well. If I ask something, there's a trick somewhere. So if you think that's good enough to be mindful, you're wrong. So the 3 that raise your hand, you're actually going to have to stay here for another week. And the one that didn't raise your hand, you can go home now.
I know I'm always wrong.
We're trying to make this thing fun so it works. So what is it that we need more? So mindfulness has a key component that we often overlook. And what is that? It's not just about what's going on outside of us. Are you aware of inside of you? Are you aware of thái độ tâm, the view of the mind? So I can tell you, regardless of how wonderful the outside are, if the thái độ tâm, the view of the mind, is not uplift, nothing will feel good, isn't it? When your mind is, let's use the word, not happy, just to be simple, doesn't matter whether your spouse cooked you a wonderful pho or the wonderful meal, whatever it is your favorite, it will not taste good. Just like when you don't feel well, whatever that means, whatever the cause may be, your mind is not well. Nothing is well. Guess what? We are worried way too much of the external things when we say we're mindful. When we should be aware of the mind view, thái độ tâm. Because that is going to decide what your life is. And so that's the biggest misunderstanding about mindfulness. We worry too much externally. We know little about internally. The 3 people is going to say, oh, wow, so make sure we have rice for them for another.
We have mì gói.
But I thought that since we are here, and that's a tricky question.
Okay, this is right here.
I raised my hand, but I thought, okay, so we are here. So today is a day to see all the old friends. It's so nice, it's peaceful, it's pleasant, and to me, I'm aware, okay, this is a present moment, and I enjoy that present moment, so I associate that with mindfulness. So that's why I said I was hesitant, because that's like other people said, your question is a little bit of a...
I agree with you 100%. You don't have to say it. So by the way, she's absolutely right. All I'm saying here, I'm making it a little bit fun. Trying to say is, in addition to that, we know externally very well. We know it. We know how to do that. But we're ready at paying attention to our mind. And our mind is actually the one that decides how this moment is going to go. So all I'm suggesting is be aware of your mind. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to say it. Any other questions, comments? That's a good one. I'm not saying ignore the external. I'm not saying that. But know your priority. So the third one is seeing clearly the mind. If you're now aware of the 3 common mistakes that we often make, experience what suffering is, able to see the process that's causing it, and aware of the mind. But this is not easy. I'm not saying we're not capable. We have this tendency to believe what we believe stronger than what it is that we see. So it's kind of ironic. Look at our life right now. When we're young, what do? We trade our time and energy for money and for career, for recognition, whatever that is. I mean, there's a long list. We actually work so hard, study so hard, so in a way we trade time and energy for those things. So I can tell you right now, I'm a little bit older, and the tendency is, it seems like we are trading financial to get what? More time and more energy. I'm telling you, I don't have the energy when the center first opened. I don't know what happened. I don't have that same energy anymore. Kind of ironic. It seems like each state of life, we are constantly looking for something else than what we have, isn't it? Why is that? When we were young, we have time, we have energy, but we don't know what we have. We don't recognize what we have, so we trade it for something else that we don't have. So now that we're older, we have financially more stable, career recognition, whatever that is, family, relationship. We are in a way trading financial. We want to buy more time and more energy. Here's the predicament of life. We don't recognize what we have. If you want to trade, that's up to you. But the problem is we don't recognize what we have. So if you don't recognize really what we have, doesn't matter what state of life, you're going to trade it for something else. So I'm suggesting for every one of us to relook and see what we have right now. Is that good enough? There's a great story that a friend called another friend. He said, hey, you want to join me for a venture? I got a financial venture that's going to create a lot of money, minimal risk. You want to join me? So the other friend said, so what do I have to do? So you got to invest these things, you got to put time in and all that. The other friend said, well, does that get me? And the other guy said, oh, it's going to get you a lot of money. And then the friend said, and this guy's probably dumb or something, he kept asking these pretty basic questions. He's saying, what does a lot of money get me? So you'll be able to buy whatever you want. And the other guy said, so why do I want to buy a lot of things? And he's saying, so you can establish yourself and have recognition. And he said, okay, so why do I want recognition? And then the other guy said, well, maybe somebody see you and get married, a family, and have a wonderful relationship. And then he said, why do I want to have a family? And then the guy said, come on, man. Do I have to tell you? To be happy. And then the other guy said, oh, why didn't you tell me earlier before so I don't have to ask all these questions? If that's the case, thanks a lot. Why don't you go? I'm already happy. I wish we asked questions like that guy on all the big thing that we do. Why are we doing it? I wish we asked those stupid questions, because a lot of time our perception of what we think it is, we think when we're rich we'll be happy. Are we? We think that when we have a family we'll be happy. I'm not going to go there. we think all of these is going to make us happy. Does it really? Any questions coming? So I actually have this chart that I'd like to share with you, but I think probably a good time to end the talk. If you come to a Synthetic retreat, a lot of time we draw a lot of diagrams. And the reason is I found that as I read the sutra of the teaching, it's very confusing. And when we're able to transform and present it in a pictorial way, a diagram of how life is and what our perception and what is true reality, and see which path we're going, the teaching become very clear. But I think we're running out of time, so maybe next time. I have to have something for you to come back. This is really not just our home. This is your home, our home, everybody. And we're really happy to see everyone be able to come and join us for this wonderful occasion. By the way, all of you are also Synthetic. You know that. You just don't know it yet. Because the fact that you are here. I mean, this is a beautiful weekend. And of all the places that you choose to go, you chose to come here. That already said that we have a lot in common. So that's why I'm saying this place is yours just like it's ours. This is our spiritual home where we share the hard part about life on how we can be well. So with that, I think we're going to take a break.